Stocks Podcast is brought to you by nothing but the greatest of the greatest. You best believe that, my G's. Hey, you need a criminal defense attorney? You slipped up? Peep game, we got you. You got our guy, Doug Sherrod. Doug Sherrod is a criminal defense attorney. Big dog shit. Matter of fact, bigger than big dog shit. You can reach him at KingKongLawyer.com. KingKongLawyer.com. He is our criminal defense attorney. He can be your criminal defense attorney. Reach out to him at KingKongLawyer.com. Hood Stocks Podcast is also brought to you by looking for some good quality cannabis. I mean, killer quality cannabis. Hit up the folks at Killer Kush. They specialize in bringing you the best quality available from OG to exotic. They got it all, baby. Hit them up at killerkushcali@gmail.com or on IG at killerkush__420 to find a location near you. If you're local to the LA area, you can find them here in the heart of East Los Angeles at East LA Exotics, located at 6009 East Olympic Boulevard. This podcast is also brought to you by Gger Phenom out of Orange County, baby. Gger Phenom is a lifestyle brand that is dedicated to supporting and inspiring individuals who are determined to achieve their dreams. Billy, we believe that no matter where you come from or what you've been through, with hard work and dedication, anything is possible. A portion of our proceeds are donated to organizations that provide vocational training for parolees and scholarships for those in need of drug and alcohol treatment. Jesus, who would have thought? This is just a t-shirt. This is a clothing brand. Okay, visit gutterphenom.com and use the exclusive code HoodStocks20 to receive 20% off your order today, baby. Yeah.
Casey, is it game time?
It's game time. I apologize for the inconvenience, but I tripped on the cable.
It's all good, baby. We figured it out. Let's get it cracking. Let's go. Welcome to Hood Stocks on a Saturday afternoon, baby. Appreciate you guys tapping in. I know there's a lot of things going on. The weekend, especially a Saturday afternoon. Appreciate you guys. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Let them know we here, baby. Hood Stocks. Let's go. It's game time. Hood Stocks Podcast is also brought to you by Dying to See Me. Dying to See Me is a podcast on YouTube. You can type in Dying to See Me and hit that subscribe button. Shout out to Matt Montague. Probably one of the only other podcasts that I would negotiate them being a sponsor on Hood Stocks. Why? Because he's a fun guy. He's a good guy. He's a white guy. And hey, you need to have white friends in your life, man, because those are good people, man. We need all colors in our life. Don't play with it while you're bullshitting, right? Okay, we got a special guest. Really appreciate this man pulling up on a Saturday afternoon, and he pulled up in fashion too, baby. I think there's a 61 Impala parked outside, baby. That thing is beautiful, dog. Out of East Los Angeles, I want everybody to give it up for Isaac Gonzales.
Woo!
How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good. I'm feeling pretty good, man.
Thank you, brother. Sorry about the little hiccup in the beginning. We haven't had one of those in a minute, but
it's all good. Just makes it more interesting.
Yeah, it does. You know what I mean? It's, every time there's a hiccup, you know what I mean? For some reason, I catch Casey in my arms and I'm burping him, bro. Right. You know what I mean? I got to put the little rag on my shoulder, dog. You know what I mean? The little burp rag, dog. You know? Come here, mijo. So you're familiar with these stomping grounds around here? Is that safe to say?
Most definitely. Yeah,
absolutely. So you're born and raised in East Los Angeles?
Yes, sir.
And you're from Maravilla?
Yes, from Mariana.
Okay, and you're also a caseworker for Homeboy's Industries?
I'm a case manager at Homeboy Industries, and I also manage sober living transitional housing known as Coast Recovery. and the San Fernando Valley.
Beautiful, beautiful. I like it. I like it. I like it. I like it. So we got an accomplished, important individual in this community that's blessing this platform today. Round of applause again, baby. I like it. I like it. And you know what? I want to give a big shout out to Audra. Audra, thank you for connecting these dots right here. I love you, girl. I know you couldn't get a babysitter, but next time, you get yourself one and you pull up and chill out with us. Let's dive into your story, brother. I'd like to know how you got to where you're at now, which you're in a very comfortable, you're in a good place in your life right now. Is that safe to say?
Yes.
Absolutely. Did you ever think that you'd be in a position like this in your life?
Actually, I did, and that all started like when I was in prison and stuff like that. I had these visions, these big dreams. I just didn't know how I was gonna start, or where or when. But I most definitely felt in my heart that I would be doing the work that I do today. Beautiful, beautiful. A lot of round of applauses. It's Saturday afternoon, baby. We got to keep this shit going till about 3 a.m. the round of applauses. It's Saturday, baby. We starting early up in this camp. Big shout out to boy Rick, Casey over there. Yeah, I love these gentlemen right here. Team. And we got Ed Cal 1 in the building too, baby.
Ed Cal.
And we got Sweets from Rockwood in the casa. And we got the homie right here. We're just introducing everybody, why not? What do we got right here, bro? We got the Peaswax?
Pimpin' Pac.
What's the name of this brand, my G? Peaswax, that's it? Okay, how can this audience find your product?
On my Instagram at Pimpin' Pac.
Pimpin' Pac? Instagram Pimpin' Pac?
Yeah.
Pimpin' Pac, P-I-M-P.
N-P-A-C. P-I-M-P-N-A-C.
Okay. Well, thank you, brother, for the gifts. Thank you very much. Okay. Let's get back to you. Sorry about that, brother.
Let's do this.
We just did the wave around Dodger Stadium right now, real quick.
Right.
You had a vision in the penitentiary.
Yes.
You always betted on yourself. You never gave up on yourself.
Well, actually, at some point in my life, I was. I was like growing up in East LA, like my jefito's from Eloyo Maravilla. He just passed away. Rest in peace, Jefe Tumbalo from Eloyo Maravilla.
Condolences.
Passed away in January. And my Jefe always told us, you're a Gonzales, you're a fighter, and being out here on the streets, I got hooked on drugs, addiction, and all that, the whole lifestyle. Like I kind of laid down for a little bit, and I was letting life kick my ass. You know what I mean? But I started working on myself and doing a lot of soul searching and all that, and doors started opening up for me.
Okay, let's rewind the track a little bit real quick, because I believe this is this state of mind is further into your story. Let's start from the beginning, brother. Let's get to the mud to get to the light.
Yes. So I like to believe when I was born, all the birds are chirping. It was a nice sunny day, perfect weather and all that. I don't remember none of that. But as far as I can remember, I knew my parents were divorced. I knew my jefito was a drug addict. So there was a horrible, like an ugly custody battle and stuff like that. Even at some point in my life, my jefito kidnapped me and stuff like that. I remember my jefe coming to the pad, kicking down the door, demanding to see his children, me and my two older brothers. Also, a big shout out to my carnal Toker, rest in peace, and my carnal Duke that's serving a life sentence right now in the CDCR. So they were my heroes, you know what I mean? And so that was a lot of stuff going on, right? But at some point, my jefito cleaned up. He became a substance abuse counselor for West Area Opportunity Center. He came back into our life stuff. He was never out of our lives. He was just trying to be there, but the courts and all that stuff, he wasn't allowed to. And as I reflect back on that, like I can't blame my jefita either for making the decisions that she made. My jefito, from what I hear from his homies and my older homies, my jefe was a fool. He was with the functions, and so jefe cleaned up, and growing up in East LA, it was like my heaven on earth. I had my both parents, I had my grandparents, I had my carnales, I had all my friends right there on Duncan Avenue. Big shout out to Poli, and so right there, it was just like I said, it was my piece of heaven on earth. And I was at peace, I strongly believe I had a great childhood. We used to play on the block, play baseball. I remember in front of my pad, in front of my grandma's, right there on Duncan and Hubbard, we had little bases. painted on the street. You know, that's when Fernando Mania was on, you know, the Dodgers and all that. And so crossing Hubbard into the neighbors' yards, the fences, those were the home runs. You know what I mean? So we had our little stadium out there. And I remember no matter where we would be at on the block, whether we were on this end or down to the boulevard, you know, or in between, we had our friends' families. You know what I mean? Like I recall one time, one of my friend, his tia, we're having a water balloon fight, and I remember I was in the neighbor's yard getting the water hose, and she started, "Hey, don't do that," and you know, not knowing, I was like, "Man, why you telling me you ain't my mom?" But now as I look back like that, no matter where we were at on the street, we were cool. There was always somebody watching us, you know, and like I see now, like you don't even see kids out there no more. You know what I mean? And I strongly believe that's the aftermath of barrio warfare. You know, we held our streets hostage. You know what I mean? Who wants their kids to go out there and possibly get in a gang, get addicted to drugs, get killed? All kinds of crazy stuff happens, you know? So that's you know, it's sad, you know? But so like I said, I'm right there on, you know, growing up in East LA. Like I love that. I love, this is home. Like, you know, coming over here, like it just means a lot to me, you know? This is, you know, I'm homegrown. So my eldest carnal, Ray, he got into the barrio. You know what I mean? You know, I remember he used to tag on the streets, Ray East LA. He was like a tagger. Now that I look back, he used to write. You know, he used to do block letters and stuff. That's all he would write, Ray East LA. Well, one day he's in the pad and he's doing block letters, and I see MMB. So I'm like, "What's that?" He's like, "Oh, don't worry about it." You know, like, so I'm like, okay. So I was, you know, peeping game and stuff. Started seeing older homies come around, scoop them up and all that. And you know, my brother, he's a heavy hitter. You know, like he was real busy around the neighborhood and all that. And one morning, we just hear banging on the door, and a lot of shouting. You know, my grandma was yelling. They had, because my grandma owned some little apartments and stuff, so she's looking out the window. They got one of the tenants by the greña. They're dragging them out, the sheriffs. We opened up the door, and there's tactical weapons pointed at me. I'm probably like 10 years old at the time, right? And when all this is happening in that moment, like I was like, damn, like this is World War III, you know, in my innocence. I thought the world was ending, you know what I mean? They're patting me down, I'm in tears, and all my family, all the tenants were all ushered onto a paddy wagon. There was a gang sweep, you know, it was all over the news and stuff. I remember turning on the Channel 4, Channel 34, all the local channels, and the pads on, you know, on blast, and we're like, fuck, you know? Then, so my carnal got locked up, he got scooped up for an attempted murder. And I honestly believe that's the first time I felt a heartbreak. Like I was broken, you know, like that's my brother. I love him. You know, I remember going to his court dates and all that. And I would see them and I would just cry, you know, and then, you know, so that went on for some while. And then, well, he was busted. My middle brother, Toker, he got into the barrio. So now he's out there, you know, and then Duke had got out of camp. And then next, you know, Tokes, he got shot, right? And then it was on. You know, I mean, I got the phone call. When the sheriff's called, I picked up the phone. Is such and such your brother? I'm like, yes, call your dad. I'm like, what's going on? Your brother's in the hospital. And then again, heartbreak, crying. I was a little boy, you know? So I ran to my jefe's room, and I'm like, hey, Steven's in the hospital. My pops jumped up. We go to the Santa Marta hospital, and he would, they killed some vato, one of my brother's homies. He wasn't from the barrio, but he kicked it with the homies, you know? He was, you know, so seeing all the family, that's the first time I seen like a dead body, you know, like I walked in the room and Homeboy's arms just hanging off the bed, you know what I mean? And I'm like, damn, like this is crazy, you know? Then seeing homies, familia there, then I remember my older brother telling them like, don't trip, it's on, right? And then I'm like, fuck, what does that mean? You know what I mean? And sure enough, gang writing, you know, the streets tell the story, you know, all the writing, the ghetto bird, all that stuff. So a little while after, Duke got scooped up for 5 attempts, you know, so now he's facing a life sentence, and again, more heartache, right? I'm missing my carnal, my brother Toker too. Well, he was another fool, right? He was with the functions too, and he got real busy in the neighborhood, and next thing you know, they raided the pad for him. You know, he got picked up for a murder, you know. And I remember as they were cuffing him, they raided my jefe's pad. He's walking out, and he asked the Judas, like, what are the charges? And, you know, they told him murder. So I was like, fuck, you know. So now my jefe had remarried. You know, my jefa was doing her thing, my grandparents. So at that time, like, I see, like, as I, again, reflecting, I feel like I was like the child that was lost in the shadows. You know what I mean? Like, I was just trying to figure things on my own. Everybody was focused on my brothers, court dates, all this stuff, you know, and then I was just trying to figure things out. I had to grow up fast, you know. So that was going on for a while. I started tagging. I remember my carnal, you know, because he see me, like I was already dressing G'd up, the Cortez, the Ben Davis, all that stuff, right? And he's like, don't get into the barrio. And I'm like, nah, I'm not, you know. He'll just be a tagger. You want me to be all right, I'll start tagging. So, you know, we flip my, that's what I was telling Casey earlier, right? That's what they used to call me, Casey1, right? And so my name, Isaac, backward is Caasi. So I started writing Kacee in the abbreviation, right? So I was like a local artist. Like I was a writer, you know, I should just write on the walls and cross everybody out, starting all kinds of pedo, you know what I mean? But, you know, and yeah, so I was just trying to figure stuff out. I would see the homies, like my homies had because of my brothers, they always showed me mad love. You know, they'll see me on the boulevard, like, what's up, how's your brother? And stuff like that. And at that time, it's not just at that time, there's always a lot of pedo, you know? But at that time, they were warring with a couple of neighborhoods surrounding right there in that surrounding area. So these vatos would see me talking to the homies. I'm a tagger, I'm going everywhere, you know? I'll be in their hood, other hoods, and like, hey, you're from over here? I'm like, nah, then they'll be like, oh, you ranker and this and that. Like, I'm not a ranker, like, you know? So there was always little drama. Then even the homies that I used to tag with, they were like, hey, fool, like stop dressing G'd up, fool. Like, you attract too much attention, you know? They were down with me, though. These cats were down. I remember they used to sneak out their Jefe straps. We'll go to all the flyer parties and all that stuff, you know? Then still I would see the homies, hey, what's up? Then I started partying with the homies, the little momos and all that, you know, and I started liking it, homies, with, you know, with the Regals, the Cutlasses and shit, you know, with the sounds and all that. And I was like, how can I say? I was influenced. I was impressed. Like, damn, these fools are food. They're down, you know, they're strapped and all this stuff, right? And so I started kicking it with them. And then, like around that time, I was probably like 14, around there, 15, going on 15. Then I met my first son's mother, right? So, you know, she ended up getting pregnant. And then I was at a house party, right? And so some other barrio showed up. The homies, I remember I was with the homies. They went somewhere else, whatever, to do their thing. Well, then when these fools showed up, there was words exchanged. Next, you know, 11 people got shot at a house party. I was one of them. I got tagged 3 times. I had my homeboy next to me, Chuco. He ended up getting paralyzed. He's alive. Nobody died, luckily, you know? Thank God, right? And it was just blood all over, you know? It was just like a bloodbath, you know what I mean? That shit was like fuck, you know? Like damn, right? So I made it out of that. I was in the hospital and stuff. I got out, and then I was with my son's mother. Then we separated, and then it was full throttle after that. Like it was, you know, like I hit the streets, like I would like to say, with the vengeance, you know, like, and so still due to that heartbreak, my brothers being gone, not understanding things, like I had a lot of anger, you know. I'll be at the pad talking to the homies on the phone, or some little jainita, then, you know, grandma, the phone bill, you know, the collect calls and all that. We had like $800 phone bills and stuff, like for like 20 years, you know what I mean? Like, so I would see that and I'm like, well, fuck it, I'm just gonna hit the street and go talk to them or go kick in with my homies, because they'll always be like, stay home. I'm home. And then I was hear all this pushback. So now I'm gonna hit the streets. So I'll get my strap, and the streets became my therapy. You know what I mean? I would go out there anger, and I'll just call like my homie, like, just go light somebody up, you know? All right, well, I'm there, let's go. So that was it, you know, like I kept on going like that. And then my neighborhood, you know, like, I don't want to get into too much details of that, but we got some bigger issues after that. And again, it was on. So that's the story of my life. It's on, guerra, constant war, shit settles, and boom, we're at it again, frontlining, all that stuff, right? And so in 94, that was the first time I lost a homie, like my generation that I grew up with. It was my homeboy, Happy. You know, I went to Fort Boulevard Elementary with them. I used to play basketball with them, and we're just taking them home, you know. And some pedo happened, you know, whatever, and I got hit again. You know, I got a 45 in my thigh. And that time, my homeboy died, you know. And then that was pretty hard, you know. Like, to this day, I still think of my homie and all that. And you know, it's like that bond is gonna be forever, you know what I'm saying? So again, just being out there in the hood. I remember we used to kick it right there on between Duncan and Ford. It used to be the building Chaparrito Stones, right? We used to call it the alley, right? So I remember we'll be posting up with the homies, and then one day I just, like, I'm a thinker, right? So I'm like, hey homie, like, why don't we get paid just to kick it here? We kick it here for free. And they were like, well, what do you mean, fool? Like, I'm like, well, let's get some piedra, you know? We could, all right, where are we going to get it first? So we went to some other water. We got a $50 double up. We didn't even know how to break it up. You know, I had to call my big homie, Droopy, big props to him, like a brother, you know what I mean? And we had his wife fucking teach us how to break up dope, you know? And, you know, you could put them in your mouth. I'm like, nah. Like, we'll just put them in baggies just in case we swallow them. We got to, you know, put them out and all that stuff. So I remember business was slow. Like, we didn't even know how to serve. We're right down the boulevard getting at the prostitutes, all that shit, right? All the little paisa bars and all that. And then sure enough, it started popping, right? And again, you know, like I said, I was, you know, out there I started going to juvenile hall and stuff and, you know, getting out, staying out like 2 months, 3 months and get back. And then I remember I was in the county, not in the county, in juvenile hall, I turned 18, right? So I'm going to the county. Again, it's on, right? So I remember I had to, you know when you wear the Cortez with the little bunny ears and stuff like that? I had to take that up and tighten them all the way up tight. Like, I'm going to get an ass whooping up in there, right? And, you know, but I went there and in the process, I bumped into my older homie. They're like, don't trip, homie, right here. You know, we will be at Eastlake and all the staff, you go to the county, it's this, that, like trying to scare us, that scared straight shit. Yeah. I went over there, man, that shit feed me. I was in process smoking cigarettes, eating candy bars, all that good stuff, you know? And so then again, I got out, and again, just the neighborhood, like the whole gang lifestyle, all that, it just consumed my entire being. That's like, I woke up thinking about the neighborhood, going to sleep thinking about the neighborhood. I'll be eating cereal, I'll be hitting up on the cereal boxes, grandma right there, rayate las nalgas, all that stuff, right? You know? So that it just kept on going like that, and just jail, in and out, right? Little BS, and then until one day they raided the pad for me. And it's like, I remember they got me at my dad's pad, and I'm in the backseat of a sheriff's car and asked them the same question as my carnal. You know, what are the charges? And then they told me attempted murder. And like, a smile like was already fucking forming, right? And that to me, that was like my fucking bar mitzvah, my quinceañera, you know, my rites of passage, you know, to become a man, you know. But that smile soon turned upside down when I started going to court, you know, talking about life sentence there, or, you know, attempts carry life. Fortunately, it got dropped to assault with the firearm. So then I went to prison, you know. So my brothers were upstate, all that, you know. And
how much time are your brothers serving at this time?
Right now, he's been down since 2000.
Okay.
Yeah, so he's been down like 22, 23 years, going on 23 years. And then before that, he did like, I think, 14 or 12.
Wow.
Yeah, so he's, you know, he just, you know, and then before a camp, you know, then violations, type of dude that turn a year flat into like a little mini term, 32 months and stuff like that, you know what I mean?
That dude, huh?
Yeah, you know, and I look at that too, like a lot of anger too. Like, I wonder what he was going through that made him to get to that point, you know, because I know what happened, what led to me taking those steps, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So
I'm upstate, and again, the biggest life lesson I ever got in my life, you know, I was right there in Chuckawalla on a level 2, you know, kicking it in the heat, you know, working on my Aztec Gold, little suntan and shit, you know what I mean? Even though I sometimes look like a lobster, it was so hot, you know, but
I've been there.
So I'm right there, and one of the homies comes in. He has a family from my neighborhood, and he's like, hey, homie, like, I think you should call your pad. I'm like, what do you mean? He goes, I think something happened to your brother. So I got on the phone, and I remember my dad, like, I asked him, like, hey, what happened to Steven? And then those words forever echo in my head, you know, he's dead. And I was just like, fuck, you know, and like, fuck, like, just broken, bro, like, broken. You know what I mean? And I was like, what do I do here? Like, you know, the first thing that comes to your mind, you want to retaliate. That's how, you know, being in from a gang and all that, the life, that's how we honor our people, you know, by putting in work for them. You know what I mean? You know, that's how I was taught, not by drinking 40s and pouring out liquor. Like, nah, like make it rain, you know?
Take action.
Yeah, you know, so I was just like stuck in there, like, what am I going to do? And about a month later, you know, I just found myself in AdSig, you know, whatever, you know?
Before we get into the AdSeg story of how you found yourself there, I want to take a quick back real quick. How did your brother, sounds like he passed from...
gang violence.
Violence.
He was murdered. He was murdered in my neighborhood.
He was murdered in your neighborhood.
He was gunned down.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And So yeah, so I'm in that sick. I ended up going to Corcoran shoot. And we're all youngsters in the hole. Then when you go over there, they're gonna give you a big old fierro and this and that. So I'm like, whatever, Yeah. I roll up there and then we're getting off the bus, and then right away there's a little ambulance, and they got somebody in there. Somebody got whacked, right? And I'm like, fuck, this shit is real. You know what I mean? Like, god damn, right? And so I get there, and as I was in there, like at that time in my cell, like I was already like, fuck, man, like how did again, like fuck, let's see how this one goes, right? So I'm there, and like I would get letters in the mail, this happened, that, my parents blaming each other, for my brother's death, my carnal in the other one in the middle, and all that, and
Your parents were blaming who? I'm sorry.
each other,
Each other.
because they were saying, because of you, they this and that.
So back to your parents real quick. So now your pops is sobered up and he's doing his thing,
yes.
okay? And mom has always kind of been the backbone of you and your brothers.
she was my mom she was alcoholic.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And
So
stuff
they
like
had
that. They have their little issues, their little struggles and stuff.
Are they together at this point?
No,
Okay, they never got back together.
No.
Okay.
And so I would get all these letters, and it got to the point where like I didn't even want to open letters no more. It was just like
Depressing, huh?
yeah, like what next? What next? You
Yeah.
know? And then so I started seeing what it did to my family. You know what I mean? I started seeing how it because that's where we grew up. Family's everything. Blood's thicker than water. This my canal represent your last name, then your barrio. Always family first. At all costs, right? And I seen how they started like all separating, fighting with each other. And then, like I said, it was one of the toughest lessons of my life, and it made me like reanalyze what I was doing. Like how many families did I destroy? How many families did I separate? How many carnalitos did me, my homies, my brothers, hurt? Little sisters, fathers, mothers, grandparents. I seen everything. Even your neighbor. They're kicking it with you, and some stuff goes down. Like that's traumatizing. You carry that. You don't just flick a switch and it's gone. It's off. You know what I mean? So I started seeing all that and like just busted, we're just stuck in a cell, you know what I mean? And so right there at that time, I strongly believe that was like probably the best time I ever did. After that, I got through all that, you know what I mean? Like we were processing that. I met some real good people, you know what I mean? I ended up going, from there I was a shoot kickout, went to High Desert. I had a salary right there, Danny Murillo, Turtle from Norwalk. Shout out to my boy, the co-founder of the Underground Scholars at UC Berkeley. Good dude. He was my Sally there and stuff, And so I parole, and I remember I should get letters, this to go do this. When you do that, did this. So I got out. I only stood out 24 hours. I got caught up. I went again to the county on a violation.
What'd you get caught up with, if you don't mind?
I went to I picked up a battery. You know what I mean? And so.
A battery,
on the streets,
okay.
yeah, on the streets.
I don't know why I was thinking of a car battery.
No. I get those for
My
free.
bad, bro.
No, like
Saturday.
a battery on somebody, right? Some
Okay.
bullshit, whatever.
Yeah.
And then, so that was it. After that, like, I get out from that time. I did a violation, got COP'd, and then I had nowhere to go. Always growing up, I always had a pad and all that. By then, I seen my family was just tired of it.
Yeah.
My jefito had property, my grandmother had property. And yet I found myself being homeless. And again, the barrio was there with welcoming arms. You know what I mean? They my homeboy Sleepy, rest in peace, told me that was my brother's road dog. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Kyle Isaac, don't trip. So I was doing good for a little bit. I was working and all that stuff. And then I started using. You know what I mean? And little by little, little line, and it got bigger and bigger and led to other things and all that.
Meth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got hooked, and that's when I met the homie Pac out there. That was out there in IE and stuff, And he wouldn't mess around, but other people, right? And I had an apartment. Like I was doing good. I had a little whip. I had a job and stuff like that. But I remember going to my apartment.
You're getting high at this time.
Yes.
Though. Okay.
And I remember I would go to my spot, and it was just empty.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I was living off of spreads. Cereal and Jumbo Jacks. You know what I mean?
It was your home, but it was empty.
Empty. It wasn't a home.
Like it wasn't a home. There was you felt no love there.
And my little spot, it was cool. Like I had my little furniture, my little stuff, little by little. Like it was clean, all that. But it just it was just an empty house. Like there was no love there.
Yeah.
And so that went on, and I ended up losing my job, absconding, all this stuff, back in the hood, and again it got busted and. like stuff like that. Just continue doing that, in and out, in and out. And what was that like around? Let's see, when did I meet my wife? I met her in 2007. But before that, I remember I went out to Arizona for a little bit, the state of Arizona, like to get out and stuff. That didn't work out. I came back.
How'd you like Arizona and why it didn't work out?
It was pretty cool. It was cool.
Did you have family out there? Were you trying to
just
get away from what you were doing?
No, I didn't have no family, just like a friend, they let me go over there, and just, just, I guess, try to start a new life, whatever, but it didn't last long. I came back, and shortly after that, I got picked up for an investigation for an attempted murder.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So even at that time, I was just, I remember I was in the holding tank, right? And I just felt like all the walls caving in, and I get anxiety. I was having a panic attack. I don't know.
100%.
And I remember like just, you want to fuck around or whatever, right? And I was just like, fuck it. And I took a real deep breath and just like, that's it. I'm gonna get life, and took a deep, like a cleansing breath, let all that shit out, and I went into G mode. Like anybody that crossed my path is on, right?
Yeah.
I go get my little paperwork, and it was just a violation. So I'm like, slow down, G, like make it out, perro, you know what I mean? And so I go upstate, I get out, and then I meet my wife, Nancy, at one of the, like a family party, one of my homies' family's party.
Real quick. So you were investigating. You were being investigated for a bad charge. But what happened with that charge?
It was. I wasn't involved in it. It just
okay. So it was like a DA reject type of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, go ahead,
you know
sir.
what I mean? And so when I got off on that violation, I met my wife, and then that was it. I just got out wanting to do good. I was living with my jefito and stuff, helping him out, all that, and then I started using again.
Wow.
She got pregnant right away.
Why let me ask you a question. Why were you falling back to using this drug again? I mean, especially after you close call. I mean, even though you weren't involved in it, right?
Mm-hmm.
You got a DA reject on that case. Why did you fall back using drugs again? I mean, you talked about the house being empty, but at this point, you are empty as well still.
Exactly, yes. And I believe the reasons why I fell back on that is because I wasn't working on myself. There was issues that I wasn't dealing with. I'm really good to shut down and block that out
100%.
and keep on pushing.
And
you know
drugs
what I mean?
is the perfect thing to do it with.
Right? And so even before, prior to meeting my wife, I was already dabbing in the arts, right? And so then she came along, and we had our my son Stevie, and I remember at that time I remember one time going to go visit my brother right at his gravesite. It was really hard for me to do, and I think that's the one of the main reason.
Is this the first time visiting your brother at a gravesite, or?
I think it was, yeah.
And it's hard to do it because obviously, sometimes time will heal the pain, but the pain is still heavy.
Yes.
How far is it from there since your brother had passed to the time?
Maybe about 7 years.
7 years. So you're still carrying that heaviness.
And it's like I never allowed myself to grieve.
Yeah.
Just shut down.
100%.
Out of sight, out of mind. So I'm busy in my car now. I'm coming down the hill, and I'm mad. I'm like, all I got is a rock. I don't have my brother no more, right? So I'm coming down the hill, and I'm in tears, I'm angry, right? And so then I look to the backseat of the car, and I see my first son, little Isaac, right there, and he looks sad, and I see my wife pregnant, but actually with my son Stevie and her too, and I'm like, just get out of here, So all that time, like I always felt like I was pulled in a lot of directions. Like what I said earlier, the way we honor people is by hurting other people, and like I feel like I wasn't honoring my brother, But then like seeing my son, he was probably at that time, like 12 maybe around there. I got busted when he was probably like going on three around there, something like that. I never raised him, I was in jail, so I didn't get to take him to the first day of school or parents' conferences, none of that. And just all this anger, then now having another child coming into the world, like that's not fair to him either, or even to my wife, right? I'm like, so I always felt torn, and I'm just like, oh, you know. Then again, the drugs, you know, getting deeper into the addiction, and so we kept on going, and you know, just using in the hood, you know, right there in the heart of the hood, you know what I mean? And I think even too, like going to the neighborhood, it's like the drug, like what are our support systems there?
Yeah.
You know, you go to see the homie, you're aguitado, here's a 40, here's a línea, here's a leño, or here's a strap.
Yeah.
Oh, you feeling some type of way, let's just take it out on somebody, you know?
Yeah.
So that too, and I most definitely believe that my homies didn't want to see me doing bad, but that's all they could offer at that time.
Well, pain empowers
Yeah.
pain, right?
Yeah, you know, and so that it kept on going. You know, I was just, you know, trying to survive of working and stuff like that, and around 2000, when I first hooked up, I stood out probably like 4.5 years. Then I picked up a case in San Diego. I was out there in San Diego and stuff like that, San Diego County. So I was there for a little bit. And then even I went into the San Diego County jail with the mentality like, I'm from LA.
Yeah.
These fools are going to remember my barrio out here. You know what I mean? So I was there, you know, and sure enough, I got some county time. You know, my jefito paid up for a little lawyer and stuff. I got some county, got a sweet deal. Like 6 months, I had to do a flat year in the county right there. So 6 months into that, I pick up a battery on an inmate.
Damn.
You know what I mean? So now they're talking about strikes and stuff like that. So now I got to call baby and be like, hey, I'm not going home next year. Like, I need a lawyer. You know, so there she is scrambling, doing what she got to do, or not what she got to do. She did it out of quota, out of heart. You know, she didn't have to do none of that.
She loved
you know,
him. She's the woman of your kids.
Yes, you know, and
She still has hope in you, believes in you.
yeah, exactly, right? So I'm fighting the case right there. I ended up getting a 4-year term. I got love, right? I was thinking I was gonna have to take a deal. If I take a deal for 10, 12 years, my life's over. I'm gonna lose my wife, probably pick up some more time in there. So
You were a fucking problem, bro.
You know,
you were a
so-
serious problem. How was San Diego County
it
jail?
was cool. The homies out there are firme. They're calmado. They got a lot of love for your boy, and I got a lot of love for them too. You know what I mean?
Shout out
They
to the
show me
homies from
love.
San Diego.
Yeah, they're cool. You know what I mean? I had some cool little sallies. I had a little homie right there. So at that time, right, I was like so lost. Even when I was out there, I guess depression, anger, all this stuff, right? Like earlier what I mentioned too about laying down and not fighting back. I was like, fuck, I'm gonna go to hell, you know? At some point in my life, I felt that. And then I was like, well, fuck it. Just the way I shined in the hood, I'll shine in hell. I'll be a badass. That's how lost I was, you know?
I mean, what was hell? What was your definition of hell?
It's just
during this
burning in
time?
hell. I guess
Yeah.
what you just, you know what I mean? There's no other way to describe it. You know, you
Yeah.
can just suffer for eternity, right? And I was like accepting that.
You were
know?
ready to suffer with a smile.
Yeah, you
At
could
the
say
time.
that, yeah. And then I bump into a little homie from Gage, right? And from Gage Maravilla, a little youngster, right? And he was into the Bible and stuff, and he was fighting a life sentence.
This is in the San Diego County
Yes,
jail.
just by chance, I have a homie out there.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah, of course.
And,
you guys are everywhere, bro.
And so we sail up. He's going to prison, so I'm, you know, like, hey, just, you know, these cool, like, lace me up, like, our way, you know? So, you know, I had him in my cell, you know, talk to him, and we're talking, and I was telling him about that, right, how I was feeling and stuff. And then he pointed out something. He goes, you know what, homie? I go, what's that? He goes, you don't see it? I'm like, no. See what? He goes, all this time, God has had his hand in your life. Like, you're still here, homie. And I was like, what? And I started looking back. Look at all those stories you tell me this. Yet you're still here. You're breathing. And I was like, damn, man. And I was like, what the hell was I thinking, you know? And so I started at that time, I started doing a lot of reading and stuff like that. You know, like, because my older brother, he was always into the cultura and read and all that. And I started reading a lot of like a Chinese philosophy, you know, the Sun Tzu, all that stuff, you know, the Machiavelli, all those war books, right? And so I would read. I had a little library wherever I would go. I'll meet those were my bargaining chips to get different books, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then I started meeting individuals, and we wouldn't just talk, we would conversate, like about life and stuff like that. So I started doing that, I'm upstate. I get out. Again, at this time, I stay out, like almost out like 5 years. You know what I mean? I'm with my wife. We start having more kids. You know what I mean? I'm living with my in-laws at Third Pad in the heart of the hood. You know what I mean? And that's why I started seeing too, like the hood's like a vacuum. It just sucks you in little by little. First I'm just observing, you know what I mean? And now I'm in the sidelines, cheerleading, now fucking making plays. Now I'm quarterbacking. Now I'm doing all this.
Little by
and
little.
Yeah, little by little, gradual, right? And then when you realize it, you're just in too deep. Like there's no like, what are you gonna do? Like again, addiction and all that. I get locked up again. What was that for? I get locked up.
Isaac, was that around the same time you were telling us a story about
Oh, that's when I got locked up. No. The story of what? I'm sorry.
a story of how deep you were in the in the books and you.
Oh yeah.
and you
So
wanted-
I'm gonna get back to that, right? Because I get out, right? Because books, I have a beautiful relationship with books, right? And so I get out, and where was I at? So I get out.
You were talking about going back.
So look, I'm with the family living in the hood, and my in-laws. I'm starting to have all these kids and stuff like that.
Now you're quarterbacking.
Yeah, and then the pad gets raided.
Okay.
All right, they raid the pad, and they take my kids.
Wow.
So now I'm on the street. So again, the hood, the homies, homegirls, letting me stay there. People I should fuck with, opening doors and all that, right? And I got real bad, like in heavily into the drugs again. I think it's worse. You know what I mean? Like people would see me, and I'll be walking down the street like just quiet, right? But inside my head, I would be screaming so loud, I just felt like my head was gonna explode into a million pieces. You know what I mean? Anybody that would look at me the wrong way, smirk at me, bump into me, tell me hi, not the way I liked, I would respond with violence. You know what I mean? Then again, like my kids and all that, I felt like I was living a double life. I couldn't see my kids, and that was like real, like heartache, like the heartache, like a motherfucker. And it was just like, well, like I didn't know where to start. Like I'm already like fuck, like again, too deep in it, right? And again, at that time, I remember the sheriffs that were on me. Like I was like a mandatory stop. They were harassing my wife, pulling her over with the kids. I had no contact with them, and they would still harass them. I would be at spots leaving or everywhere. But I had like no peace whatsoever. No peace. Just everywhere I went, like I couldn't rest. Just always on the go, right? And again, at that time, trying to hustle, trying to just, survive. I got picked up on a little bullshit case. It was like a little for a G ride, because I didn't want to walk, whatever, right? I'm upstate, so now I'm in prison and I'm requesting books and I'm reading books again, getting educated, and at that time, again, military books, stuff like that. So I was a turnaround. So for like 6 months, I was in Delano reception. And in those 6 months, I'm just planning how I'm going to take over the barrio, how I'm going to sew up the block. Not the block, like the blocks, right? From Eastern Atlantic, from the 5 to the 60. And ain't nobody going to tell me what to do there. I got to the point where, I was reading these military strategy books, right? And I started realizing that when we go to war, we have no objectives. They drop one of them, they try to drop you, and you just go and it never stops. So I'm like, then I came across this idea of a war room where different countries go. It's like, well, I'm gonna go to Homegirl's pad, that room she had in the back, we're gonna turn it into a war room. We're gonna have objectives. So I'm just plotting, stuck in that cell. That's all I'm thinking now. Playing out scenarios in my head, or how I acted, or I didn't act, or respond, or react to certain things, what I did, analyzing everything. I could have did this different. Oh, that was a good move, and this and this and that, right? I get out. I had a little feria, not a lot, just enough to, get out. It's like this, like a good mechanic has his tools. He has his, his wrenches, all this other stuff, right? A doctors, his scalpels, the nurses, and all. Well, a good gang member has his little homies, his straps, his knives, his scales, and dope, and an area, right?
Yes, sir.
So first thing I'm gonna do, buy a strap. I gotta get burnered up. I remember before that little term, I had got caught slipping in my neighborhood. Some fools rolled up on me, hit me up. I to this day I think they were bluffing, acting like they had a strap. I stood my ground, and like the back and forth stuff, and I was telling them, like, hey homie, like, if you're gonna do something, do it right, because I'm big trigger and I get my run back. I'm gonna get my run back, homie. So think about what you're doing, right? Fortunately, by the grace, I thank God, and I think they were bluff, or maybe they're like, give this fool a pass. I don't know.
Yeah.
They left. I was like, gracias, right? I was
you were telling them this.
Yes.
You're telling them this.
Yes.
And that's a trip, bro. If you're gonna pull up on somebody, you gang banging,
yeah.
and then this dude is saying, "Hey, homie, exactly what you said.
Yeah.
Think about what you're doing. You better do it. You better do it right, bro, because I'm gonna come back for that ass."
Yeah.
I mean, that hits a little different, especially for maybe some youngsters, bro.
You know what I mean?
They're like, man, we just caught a little buzz and we're running around the neighborhood trying to have some fun. You know what I mean? Like, this dude is...
like, don't you know who I think I am? You know what I mean?
Well, at the time, you know who you were. And who you were is what you were saying you were, bro. So, no, I get it, bro.
Yeah. And I remember that night, I smashed through the spot. And they were actually kicking with, people that were guys. They weren't even my homies. And they were all like, hey, fool, you all right? Like, I was just shaking, like adrenaline, man, like, all right. And after that, I go, like fuck that, I gotta get strapped, because I would, so this is before that was right after when all the hoodas were on me. I go, I gotta get strapped, like, no matter where I go, because my wife and my children are not gonna get that call that her husband and their father was murdered.
Yeah.
At all costs. So I was taking chances, I was living at I would stay with, like I said, homegirls, homeboys. They would open up doors for me. And I remember I was at this one spot. I would have to go like to two rival neighborhoods, to get to my hood. So I'll be right there. Like I got to the point where like I was concealing straps on me. I'll look in the mirror and walk. Can you see it? And stuff like that. I even started practicing drawing down. Like boom, boom. I was just practicing. I'm like, fuck, it's crazy out there, this is my life. They're most definitely not gonna get that call, and so that right there was like, my choices at the time were very limited. It's either, do I take my strap and take a risk of getting busted, or do I leave it behind and take a chance of getting smoked? You know what I mean? So before I'll go to the hood, hey, how's the weather out there? It's hot. Boom, get a ride, a Uber. That's when Uber started coming out, doing Ubers, have homies pick me up, stuff like that. I'll leave a strap at this spot, fucking get on a bike, smash to the hood. At the other spot, have one ready right there, like just leaving them around so everywhere I went. Because like I said, like I just had too much heat on me. Then even that too, like I started realizing too, like I spent too much time there. No matter what I did, people would hear about it. If I sneeze, oh, this fool sneezed. Whether the enemies, the smokers, the hoodas, I was just burnt already. You know what I mean?
Talk of the town.
Yeah, I was just out there too much. Like, I remember going to spots and people would be all laughing as soon as I got there, quiet.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, what the fuck? Or even pull up to other spots, start seeing cars leave. Boom, 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 boom,
They're afraid of you.
Yeah, maybe, and I look back that too. Maybe they were afraid of me. I know most definitely some were afraid of me. Some couldn't stand me. Yeah. Some people respected me, and some people did love me because they were the ones that would open doors. You know what I mean? Or maybe they even opened doors out of fear too. You know what I mean? Or even people. Not everybody, but some people do things with different motives. We have this at the spot. You'll take care of the spot. Shit like that. And so I got busted when that's what the stories. I was out there on the streets, right? I ended up getting busted for that G ride. I don't mean to be going back and forth and stuff,
good,
right?
Bro. You're good.
I got out. I was gonna sew up the hood. I had a little fitty. I got my strap, waiting on a connect. Got high as fuck. Now I'm tripping. At the homies pad. Hey, where's all my clothes at? I don't know. Well, that's your responsibility. You know what I mean? I left my stuff. That's your responsibility.
Yeah.
You know, and I was like really, Spencer, but like I was gonna hurt some people. I was tripping, mad, like, and then again, like I was just like disgusted. You know, the condition of the hood, all the stuff that goes around out there and all that. My condition, the point where I was at in my life, like who am I kidding? Like nothing's gonna happen, nothing's good gonna come out of this, you know. And I remember I left Homeboy spot. I was gonna do something, you know, and you start playing the tape and all that. I was gonna need something just to like, fool, you're tripping, fool, just bounce. So I'm leaving, and there was this Huda Sanchez, the sheriff, right? Fucking, he would always stop me. And he sees me, like he rolls up on me, boom. Like, what's up, Trigger? He goes, you're out? I'm like, yeah. And he goes, you got anything on you? And I had a little 9 on me, right? A backpack, fucking other stuff and all that. And I'm like, yeah, I'm strapped. As soon as I said, like, they were already walking up to me, like cuffing me up. And even in that little moment, I was like, if I run, because I would always, when I would stroll through the hood, I would see what gates had, what properties had dogs, which ones had locks on their fences.
Escape route.
Yeah, so if I, on the street I was on right there, like it was all lit, like there's no chance. Like I could toss something, I always keep my shit chambered, but if it goes off, these fools light me up and smoke me. You know what I mean? And these were the cats, they would pull me over. I would be like the only homie cuffed, and other homies would just be standing there. I'd be like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? Like I would get singled out like that, you know, or I felt like that. I don't know. Maybe I was tripping. I don't know. But that's how I felt. So I just felt, I got caught with my hand in the cookie jar. Like, chalk it up, fool. Like, you know, so I went up. I only stood out like 12 days, 10 days around there. So now I had a gun charge. Mad at the world. Going through the process in the LA County jail. Feeling defeated. I had all these plans. I'm going to sew up the hood. I'm going to do this and that. You know, a lot of us do that, right? So I'm going through the process. And I remember I called my wife. I called her and crying. And I talked to my son, Stevie. You know, and then he asked me this question. And like in my story, I always share, Stevie saved my life. He asked me, he goes, why did you do that, Dad? And I didn't have the answer. You know what I mean? So I was like, fuck. And I started questioning, like, why did I do that? Why do I keep on doing the same things that have the same result? You know, I'm out there, take them for granted, or not intentionally or indirectly. You know, I end up back in prison. I'm crying for them, wondering if they're cold at night, if they ate, if anybody's hurting them. And I'm in the same position again, you know? So that question, it changed my life. I go, I got to get the answer to that. And that's when I began to seek help. So I'm in the county and I'm like, you know, going to whatever module, end up in Wayside, end up in a Supermax. I ended up in South, and even right there, I was like, hey, well, when I was at Supermax, it was like a transfer module, transfer dorm. So I was at like, hey, you can go to a prime. Oh, the homies can't go there and this and this. And I was like, fuck, like, you know, I need some help. Gee, you know, help me out. I ended up at South, and they had a little program right there. So I was talking to him, he's like, yeah, fool, go. And then again, I started getting a lot of books. But it's this time around, instead of getting military books, I started getting self-help books. Nice. I got turned on to the law of attraction and stuff like that. I really liked what it had to say. I remember I read that book, The Secret by Rhonda Byrne. And like that book started talking to me. Then I would keep on telling baby, I'm going to go to the program. I'm not going to get that much time. They were trying to give me 13 years with 85% for a strap. It's a misdemeanor, but because of my strikes and my record, I'm like, damn, like for a fucking burner?
Yeah.
So now I'm like, nah, I got to go to this program. I got to go to that. I'm fighting my case, trying to get my strikes struck. They're like, nah, they ain't fucking with you. And then I started collecting support letters. That I had no defense. So I go in there and they're going to strike my strikes. The judge comes out with his decision, right? He goes, but they resist. They sent me back to the holding tank. Comes out again. He goes, I already had decided that I wasn't going to strike your strikes, but I got this information. The DA was withholding the support letters. He goes, I had made my decision based on the fact that you didn't have no ties to the community. But now with these letters, it's evident that you do. People speak highly of you. So, you know, I had family friends, childhood friends, even my little boy wrote me a letter. You know what I mean? And so that, boom, I went back. Finally, long story short on that, they struck my strike, and I'm off to prison. You know, I even asked this was before all the stuff started changing in the system. I even, hey, can you give me a recommendation for fire camps? I could get 33%. All these laws are changing and all that. And all that's getting shot down. I hit Delano again. Everything starts changing in there. Homies can't go there, can't go here. So I'm like, fuck, I'm trying to go home as soon as I can, right?
How much time did they end up giving you?
For that, they gave me 4 years.
Nice.
4 years with half. 4 years with half, right?
Beautiful.
Yeah, like, so I'm like, fuck it. But my thing was, like, no matter where I go, I'm going to ask for help. And, like, I remember I would pray to God, right? I would ask God, like, to guide me in everything that I did. Of course, to keep my family, my friends safe, everybody, you know, to protect me from my enemies and also to protect my enemies from me. You know, because individuals that hurt my brother, they were in the system. You know what I mean? So it's like I'm going to have to make some tough choices. You know what I mean? So I would just ask God, keep them away, you know? And then I would ask God, send me home. I want to go home so bad, but don't do it until I get the help that I need.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So at South, I don't know if I'm jumping back around, getting all these ideas and thoughts, right? I'm trying to get into that program, and I kept on telling baby, they're going to take me to the program. Law of attraction, affirmations, and this.
Energy flows where attention goes.
Yes, all that stuff, right? And one day she was like, what happened? You know, homies that had a little Hugo that put me down there, put me in, yeah, we got you next week, gonna get called down there. Nothing. And then I hang up, I'm talking to my wife, and before we hang up, she's like, when are they gonna take you to the program? So I hang up, I went to my bunk, and I hey God, like, what's up? Are you gonna take me or not? Like, I'm asking, I'm praying with all my heart, like, is this gonna happen or not? Fell asleep. Next morning, they call me, you're going to the program. Thank God. All right, right. You know what I'm saying?
And what kind of program
it
was
was a
this?
START program. It was just like a drug program. That's
Drug
when
program.
I started getting introduced to that. And again, my books, rolling up with my books, reading my books, right? I did have a one book that was very influential that really changed my perspective on life too. It was called The Tower of Spycraft by Ralph D. Sawyer.
Okay.
So back in those times, you know, when the whole court and all, there was like more like a verbal judo and stuff like that. And it stated in there like violence is like a last resort. People that resort to violence, they live like dogs, like animals. So that was very humbling. Like I'm like, here I'm thinking I'm on top of my game, but in reality, I'm living like a dog.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Indulging in animalistic behaviors, all this stuff, right? And I was like, fuck that. I'm not a dog. I'm a human being, you know? Like, I want to live, you know? So I kept on reading. That time, I end up in Delano again. I'm still doing my reading. I get this other book, right? It's called As a Man Thinketh by James Allen. You know, so earlier when you asked me, did you have all these ideas? So throughout all this time, I had ideas of what I was going to do, right? I'll be in the hood and I'll see fools like, why does that fool balling? And that fool's a lame, right? Like I could go take a shit, you know, or this and that.
Yeah.
You know, and all that stuff. And reading those books, it just wasn't my time. It wasn't my time. And even when I'll be in the little trap houses and stuff like that, I'll be like, because, you know, I would be like, order. Sometimes you got to do things, check people, whatever. And I would tell them, like, appreciate me. Because I'm not going to always be here to take care of you guys. There's going to be a time when I'm gone. But don't worry, when I come back, I'm going to be in a position to offer you guys jobs. I'm going to help you. Because what I started seeing there, like I started seeing society dismisses drug addicts, gang members. They just sweep us under the carpet, out of sight, out of mind. Like these individuals that I got to know before, like, you know, did little trances or whatever, but they became my friends after. I seen there was a lot of talent. There was a lot of pain, a lot of heartache. There was this one young lady, she used to sing really nice. They ended up killing her right there. That's another crazy story. There was another homie there too. He was in front. He was like a casual dude, but he was a real sick ass artist off the dome. Paint this. He would paint. He introduced me to a little painting and stuff, right? And so I knew at that time that I was gonna become their voice. I was gonna be in a position to advocate for people that cannot advocate for themselves.
Let's go.
You know what I mean? So here I am reading my books. As a man thinketh, there's a story, right? There's a little story in there, and it says, once there was this gentleman that was in a shop. Every day he went to that shop, and no matter how hard he worked or whatever he did, he never went nowhere. He never came up in the shop. That's it, the lowest of the lowest jobs. Until one day that young man, he got tired of that. He learned all the ins and outs of the shop. Then soon enough, the shop could not contain him. So he left the shop and he went in search of the finer things in life, different schools of thought. And soon thereafter, people began to ask about what became of this young man until one day he came back. And when he came back, everybody gathered around him. And when he spoke, everybody hung on to his every word, and lives were forever changed. When I read that short story, I went, that's going to be me. That's going to be me if I continue on this. So I went full throttle, kept on with my reading. I ended up hitting Calipatria for a short period. I was trying to get into educational programs. As all these books began to talk to me, I just felt that education would save my life. You know, I would begin, the more that I would learn, I would begin to see the world in a different light. And, you know, and it's like, I would just not go back to the things that I would go to, you know? So I'm in Calipat trying to get an education. Lifers got all the priority. Couldn't go, I didn't have enough time. When I was in delirium reception, due to violence, I couldn't go to certain school programs. So that's when I started self-educating in myself, reading. And then at that, right there, when I'm reading, I started talking about the law of attraction. I'm going to go to school. I'm going to get a degree. I'm going to do this. I'm going to go back, help these people. The people, not just my homies, but anybody that needs help. You know, and I kept on doing that. And I would write to organizations. Nobody would write back. The only ones that ever wrote me back were Project Rebound out of Cal State LA. They wrote back to me. I was asking them what I needed to go to school. You need 60 units. You have to have a degree from a community college, all this other stuff. And I'm like, fuck, right? Yeah. Then there, I ended up qualifying for the MCRP. So in Delano, the homies weren't allowed to go. Now I'm at this spot, and they're like, dale gas, but be for real. Yeah. So I get there, and right there, it's a behavior modification program. I started, you know, they do a lot of classes, a lot of groups all day. It's like school. So I'm doing these classes, and they would tell you to go back to your room and reflect. So I'll be reflecting. I'm like, man, are these fools trying to turn me into a punk? Like serio, right? And then I'm like, everything that I learned, 30 years, 27 years invested in the hood. You mean to tell me I'm supposed to crumble this up and flush it down the toilet? You mean to tell me my carnal died for nothing? My homies? I got shot for nothing? I carried caskets for nothing? Got ass whoopings for nothing? Like, fuck that. You know, so it was a battle within myself. Then, lo and behold, one day I'm in a hallway and something like an incident with me and another individual, it almost became an incident. But without realizing it, I practiced something that I learned in the group. So I go back to my room, I'm reflecting, and I had that aha moment. Like, damn, this shit works.
What was it exactly?
It was just walk away. Don't entertain that shit. It's that simple, right? Walk away. Yeah. And I go, they're not trying to turn me into a punk. They're just trying to help me live a more peaceful life. And through all this insanity, that's been my life's dream. So I got a glimpse of peace in my life, and I wanted more. And that's what I'm in search of. Like I'm on a pilgrimage, you know what I mean, of self-transformation, peace. You know what I mean? So I started hearing stuff like, I would hear all this stuff, and it was like so cliche. Hold on to your seat, trust the process, it works if you work it, all this other stuff, right? The more you put into it, the more you're going to get out of it. The universal law, you reap what you sow. You know, so I started putting into it, opening up in groups, this and that. And then I started seeing homies with Homeboy Industry t-shirts. Well, I had my homeboy Yogi, like in 2005, he was on the graffiti removal. He was killed my homeboy Yogi.
Removing graffiti.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Rest in peace.
Yes.
I know him.
And he was burnered up. He was always strapped. Yeah. Solid ass homie. Fucking cholo, dog. Like,
let's before we get into this, let's take a quick break.
Yes.
I apologize, brother.
No,
we got to pay a couple bills. Let's take a quick break, and we'll be right back with Isaac Gonzales.
Sit tight.
This is amazing.
Hit that like, hit that subscribe.
All that.
Hoodstocks podcast is also brought to you by Origin Bakery Equipment, your one-stop shop for all your bakery and restaurant equipment needs. Home base to wholesale commercial bakeries, new and used equipment. Check it out. Follow them on Instagram at Origin Bakery Equipment LLC. Or you can pull up on them in the city of South El Monte at 10441 Rush Street. Peep game. If you need commercial bakery equipment, these are our guys, and now these are your guys for the best prices. Hey, tap in. Hoodstocks podcast is also brought to you by Apish OG. Apish OG. Apish OG. Everybody say it with me. Apish OG. Follow them on Instagram at Apish_OG. You can buy it at OG Nation in the city of Maywood. Come get your flower edibles. One-stop shop for all your needs. Yes, sir. Hoodstocks podcast is brought to you by Lux Tattoos. No, it's not me. It's Lux. Lux Tattoos. I don't tattoo, but Lux Tattoos. Follow them on Instagram at Lux, LUXX_tattoos_. Hey, a lot of these cats have gone Hollywood. They were raised in a holy, beautiful home, structured with all the beautiful things. Man, tattoos originates from the streets, so make sure you get tattooed from somebody that's from the streets. Lux Tattoos. Love you guys. We out.
Hoodstocks is the illest. Hoodstocks is the illest. Hoodstocks is the illest. Hoodstocks is the illest.
I hit the street block with my dick on a swivel. I hit the street block, hot Cheetos and a pistol. Right hand hit a bury faces in your feelings. Look the tree trimmer in the hood yelling timber. Dead man walking, no, I'm just playing the fiddle. Marching to a sound, dog, take him to the river. There's men in the middle when you're dealing with some killers. The man in the middle real than them low-paid hitters. Nothing more realer than a fool to kill for dope. Nothing more realer, just an 8 ball of dope. Life real cheap when you're mobbing on them streets. You might not keep what you think is yours to keep. The fools don't know what they ain't never lived. I'ma put it on blast, dog, tell it how it is. Fools don't know what they ain't ever lived. I'ma put it on blast, dog, tell it like it is. Fools don't know about living in the trap. Sweat I'm a boss, fuck brains like a rabbit. Picking out the windows for the hooters and them faggots. Fools don't know about sleeping with a strap. Don't know what they ain't never lived. I'ma put it on blast, dog, tell it.
All right, we back.
There we go.
Wow. What an amazing journey in life, man. And wow. Let's get back to it, bro. So you were talking about your homeboy that was working for Homeboy's Industry. He was part of the graffiti removal.
Yes.
And did he get killed while he was removing graffiti?
Yes. I don't know exactly if he was removing it or at a red light or something like that. We hear all kinds of stories. So when that happened, there was a war brewing, and but prior to him passing, right, he was working at Homeboys, and he was telling me about Homeboys. Go down there, and I was like now that I have trainees on my case, so I can't work around my enemies and stuff like that. And so my thinking was, why am I gonna go over there and start Bello, right? So when Yogi got killed, I was again mad, heartbroken, you know. That was my solid ass homie right there. I was staying with one of my homies in the hood, and the other homie came, and like it's time to go. It's go time. Let's roll. My homie that I was living with at that time, he was going to the market. He asked me to go with them, so I'm like, all right, I'll go with you. He was getting his keys or doing something. So I sat in Homeboy's living room on the couch, and I started praying to God. And I was just asking for forgiveness beforehand. I'm like, God, like, forgive me. Like, I'm angry, I'm hurt, I'm mad. I'm about to sin, and I'm going to sin big. You know, so we leave the spot, make a left on the first street, boop, we get pulled over. Damn. What's your name? I'm trying to give an alias. And then I was just absconding at, you know, on the dashboard, they had a picture of me.
Whew.
Fuck.
You know what I mean? Like I was counted before. You know, they had a picture of me, and they're like, "Is this you?" I'm like, "Yeah." I go to 3rd Street. As soon as I walk in, they're bragging. We got Trigger. Everybody starts clapping. They even have pictures of me in there, and even like stuff like that. Like I felt like the shit. Like, oh yeah, fuck yeah, right? The insanity, bro. Like, right? And I'm like, fuck yeah, you know what I mean? Like shit like that, feeding your ego, you know? Like even in the barrio doing dirt, like all that stuff fed my ego. It made me feel larger than life. Again, like I mentioned earlier too, my older brothers were my heroes. Oh, you're like Toker. Boom. I was getting a positive reinforcement for negative behaviors, negative action, right? All the pats on the back, I became addicted to that. You know what I mean? Oh, you're like Duke. My head will get big. Oh, you're like the both of them, a mixture, combination. Oh, fuck yeah, let's do this, right? So now fast forward again. I'm at the MCRP. I see homies with Homeboy t-shirts, and I thought of Yogi. And he's like, I don't know. It's like, go. So now I'm trying to get passes to go over there, and they're like, I'm getting pushed back. I navigated my way down there. I got a pass. I went over there, and the reason why I chose Homeboy is because I just felt it in my heart that they were going to help me. It was a place for me. You know, being a gang member, shaved head, the way we walk and talk, we go to other places, people look at it, we get judged a lot, you know? And I just felt right there, it wasn't going to be that, you know? So even going over there, I even had homies on standby. Hey, something happens, the hoods just call us, fool. Anything, we'll go get you. Or we'll go and you don't got to do nothing.
While you're at Homeboys.
Yes.
Yeah.
My little homies.
Yeah, it's a little. It could potentially be dangerous there
you
too.
know,
Huh?
yeah, anywhere. It could be dangerous anywhere.
100%.
You know what I'm saying?
Thank you for clarifying.
But like I told myself, if I go with bad intent, I'm gonna get that. But if I go really, so I started practicing how to walk and talk differently. Even when I was I was already dressing a little low key and stuff, to blend into Wiggle and all that.
How did you practice that?
Just
Did you do it the
staying
same
in my
way with the
lane.
gun?
No, staying in my lane. Start wearing smaller clothes. Even try to stroll less. Some people still say I stroll. I don't know. You know what I mean? And just when the interactions with the people that you encounter, stuff like that. And either am I going to entertain it or not? Then even in that time, I go, I got to become allergic to the bullshit. You know what I mean? I've been around, so I could spot shit a mile away. Before. You're in your barrio, you're walking, you see 5 fools on the street, you're not gonna, let me go around the block. You're gonna go through there to see who they are, right? So now I'm like, nah, I'm either gonna call an Uber, get scooped up, or go around the block. You know what I mean? Like am I gonna continue to hurt myself and my family? Like hell no, at all costs. I'm gonna do what I gotta do to live a life, a fulfilling life. And again, in prison, like I had all these ideas 10, 15, 20 years ago. I would, like I mentioned earlier, I would read all these books, conspiracy books, William Cooper, Behold the Pale Horse, David Icke, all that, Children of the Matrix. You
got an amazing memory, bro.
I started reading, Zachariah Sitchin, the Anunnaki, all that stuff,
part
right?
2 with that.
And then I started coming across all these, like I started realizing there's big issues in the world. Like how's a Chicano from East LA, drug addict gang member, where's he gonna begin? How am I gonna have an impact on that? And I was like, fuck, when I went to Homeboys, Homeboys is gonna give me the platform. MCRP, stepping stone. Homeboys, my diving board. The world, my ocean. You know what I'm saying? And so I was like I was there just open. I even look back at pictures of me, and you know what I seen a few months ago, you could see it on my face. I wanted it. The first day I went to Homeboys, I went up there with the dream of enrolling into college and getting the degree. The first day I went up there, I enrolled to college. You know what I mean? And this is a kid that throughout his educational journey always failed. You know what I mean? The only classes I ever excelled at were PE and art. Everything else I failed. At some point, I was even put in English as a second language. I speak fluent English.
Put you in an ESL class?
ESL class. Yeah. I go in there, and some kids had visible disabilities. There was other kids, little paisitas, they didn't speak a lick of English. And I'll be in there helping them, and even that, led me to be insecure. I felt dumb. Even one time I asked my headphone, like, hey, why do I always fail? How come my brothers are all into sports? They had a photo album full of first, second, third place little ribbons, for basketball, football, all that. So I go, how come I don't have any? How come I don't this for school? I go, am I dumb? She said, no, you're not dumb. You're just lazy. So I grew up believing I was lazy. I procrastinate. I did a little reading on procrastination. It's not that I was lazy. It just I was afraid of failure. Then when you do succeed, now there's a fear of success, more responsibility. I didn't want to start things because all throughout my life I just felt so alone. I didn't want to do things alone. But this time around I gotta do this shit alone. You know what I mean? Like my jefito would tell me, you're from East LA, you're a fighter. Earlier when I mentioned I laid down and let all the lifestyle kick my ass, I stood up. I go, now's the time to fucking fight back.
Let's go, baby. Let's go. Hood Stocks at its finest. Let's go.
And it's like reading all that stuff, like I adopted the warrior's mentality. Like right now we're battling, but it's a healthy exchange of words. This is good, you know what I mean? And
it's beautiful.
And
it's art.
I go and the way I say, like every day I fight for my life and I refuse to lose. You know what I mean? So I started my educational journey. And I draw a big shout out to the Education Justice Rising Scholars at ELAC. So that started about 2 years ago. It was the first class, English 101 with Professor Obed Silva. Big shout out to Elisandro. So the professor's a gang member, formerly incarcerated. All the students were all formerly incarcerated.
Wow.
This program they were trying to develop, they had this idea trying to get it going. There was, not everybody supports us.
Why?
Because we're demonized.
And who are the ones that aren't supporting? Is it the?
Well, it's all these systems that are
they get paid off of people being incarcerated.
That law enforcement, all that stuff, all these what are they? All these systems that are designed to hold us back. It's like there's a 200-year gap. You know what I mean? We all don't get an equal start at the race. We're 200 years behind.
Whew.
You know, in education, healthcare, law enforcement, military, all that stuff, right? So this kid that failed immersed himself in his studies. Education became my outlet. I started writing papers, essays, right? And through that writing, I began to heal.
And you were writing about your life.
Yeah, I began to I now see it as a gift. When I read or when I'm in class, I make connections. I make it relate to my life. So I found ways to keep my brother's memory alive forever. When you do papers, they go in these databases.
Wow.
Started writing about Tokes. Started writing about Duke. Started writing about my Jefe. Started writing about my homeboys. About me, the area. You know what I mean? So
Immortalizing it.
yeah. So I kept on going, and then that class from the Rising Scholars. So the dream was to start the program. About a year ago, it was official. I did a town hall talk. So when I first went to ELAC, they had these things for a sociology class. I'm a sociology major. I just graduated with a AA for transfer in sociology, general education in humanities, general education degree in behavioral sciences.
Wow.
I graduated with a 3.9.
Wow.
Like in my picture, you see the ribbons, the yellow ribbons, that's for a 3.5 and over. I made the dean's list like 3 years in a row. The transfer. The only reason I didn't have a honors roll is because I didn't have the time to enroll in the honors class. I would have did that too. You know.
So when I seen that picture, I just thought it was basically just a type of graduation decoration, but they all mean something.
Yes, I earned that.
Wow,
I
brother.
earned that.
Wow.
And
Wow.
And
Let's go.
that took,
Get up off your futons and give this man a motherfucking clap. Stop playing with it.
you know, and
Shit. Wow.
It was a hard journey. You know, it was you know the warrior's mentality. First class, before it starts. Well, actually, before I'm walking up the steps to ELAC, right? I'm going up there, and I would hear. I have a mentor at Homeboy Industries, Brittany Morton. Big shout out to you. I love you. She helped me out so much, man. And she would always say the students in the front. There's studies that show that students in the front do better than the ones in back. And I remember I would always be in the back, class clown, drawing. So this time, fuck that. I'm going in the front.
Yeah.
So there I'm smashing to my first class. So I'm leaving all these kids. They're like, I'm in front of them, and I go, hold up, perro, you don't even know where to go. You don't even know what to do. You haven't been in the classroom in over 20-something years, right? So I slow down, and I'm seeing them pass me up. I go, I'll just follow them, right? And then I'm going up the stairs, the steps at ELAC, where it has the ELAC sign, ELAC in the front. And I stopped, and I asked myself, are you really going to do that? And I go, fuck yeah, at all costs. So there I'm going to my first class. Everybody's waiting on the professor. And me, again, warrior's mentality, I'm like, I'm going to war. I'm pacing, like I picture myself going in the ring like a prize fighter. It's like, oh, I got to get the oxygen flowing. I have my little coffee, pounding coffee, you know? And I'm right there. I get into class, I'm the first student in the class in the front. And then they start lecturing, introductions, all that stuff. And then I'm like, fuck, what do I do? So I'm like, fuck, looking behind me to the side. And I see this one kid pull out a pen. I pull out my pen. The other one pulls out their tablet, so they can write notes.
Yeah.
I pull mine out too. They start taking notes. I start taking notes. And then there I went, and it was a struggle. Then COVID hits. By then, so I was at the MCRP. I went to Homeboys, graduated from the MCRP. They cut off my ankle monitor January 4th of 2000. So before that, like I didn't want to go back to the hood, not because I wasn't welcome or because I was scared. I was just scared to get sucked into the vacuum. I was scared that I was going to lose my life. I was scared that I was going to catch life. You know what I mean? So I'm a thinker. So I go, fuck. So they're connecting people to like transitional housing, sober livings and all that. And I go, I'm not going to go to one in the hood. It's going to be the same shit. I'm going to get triggered. I'm going to be there again. Back to square one. Then I started thinking, well, I'm not going to go to one in I don't, no disrespect to nobody, like to a ghetto neighborhood and for drugs and other food. And so my thing, well, go out to the valley, go out San Gabriel. Not that nothing happens out there, but people, how can I say, it's like, it's not my barrio. I ain't got nothing to trip on. Point A to point B, homie. That's all you, by all means. If they jam me up, I ain't mad. Like, you're just doing your little holla, little homie. Like, it's all good.
Yeah.
But I ain't got no pedo.
Redirect that
pushing.
energy.
Yeah. But fortunately, I never got into any stuff like that. I got connected with that sober living. I was a client there, Coast Recovery. And then COVID hit, so we went Zoom. So the owner would come into the pad, and we started doing education through Zoom. We're meeting like groups instead of being like support groups at Homeboy at our main location. It was all remote. So the owner, he would hear what we would talk about, what I say, and he started to get to know me. And I started helping around the house. Long story short on that, he offered me a position. So from being a client, and I'm now his senior manager there, still going to Homeboys in the program.
What is the senior? What is the senior
so
manager
now I'm like
do?
the lead. I'm the lead.
You're the lead.
I'm the overnight manager.
Okay.
I'm the lead. You know what I mean? I'm the lead.
Does it pay well? Out of curiosity?
No, it pays well for me.
Yeah, at the time.
No. For me, it pays well as.
And what you get back from it?
Yes,
I get you.
I'm here.
Yeah.
If it weren't for that, like I don't know where I would be at either.
Like, damn, they're paying me to be here.
Yeah.
I get it.
And it's
there was no amount of dollar that what you were really getting from it, because it was a part of your journey. It was a part of your change. It was a part of rehabilitation, right?
Yes. And so even stuff like that, like my jefe always told me, don't be a follower, be a leader, right? So it's crazy, like the whole lifestyle, like it took me 46 years to be here, you know what I mean? I paid a heavy price for it, but all the stuff that I learned in the hood and in prison, I that was another realization. I got to figure out how I could flip the script on that and learn how to apply it on this side. And when I say this side, like doing good, living life, and those are transferable skills. I know how to direct, man, to be cool, calm, and collective. Don't get paniqueado under pressure. Don't react, respond. You know what I mean? Stuff like that, right? Yeah. And so I started doing that, and I just continued on my journey, growing at Homeboys, doing classes. I met some amazing people over there. Like, it's crazy. Like, all these people from different barrios, they're my friends. And like, without a doubt, I know they love me, and I love them. You know what I mean? It's we got a good bond. I learn a lot. Like I'm a sponge.
Let me say this real quick, because you caught my attention big time on don't react, respond. I want to share a short little story. One time I got out the penitentiary, I was working as an electrician, non-union, and I was doing a side job with this one dude. His name's Mike Maynor, out of my area, right? And he was a construction, crazy dude, good dude, loved to drink. We had a good time all the time. And he tells me, hey, bro, I got this job. It's a little remodel. It's a remodel, and I need you to do the electrical stuff. I mean, and I was kind of like faking it till you make it type of thing. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't know it all, bro, but I knew the basics, so I could probably get what he needed me to get done for that job. And he was paying me great money, right? And so don't react, respond. So it's a Hollywood house with this dude that comes out in Pepsi commercials and stuff like that. And it was a type of family or dude that had dogs that were his kids. So there was these little pugs. There was these pugs running around while we were working, right? The remodel of the main bedroom in the back of the house. And this is always stuck on my mind because I was always pissed at myself, bro. I reacted. I didn't respond. And this is what happened. So one of this dude's dog came in. I had the receptacles out of the wall, and they were still hot. Ooh. They were still hot. And usually, Like I wasn't tripping on the dog running around, bro. I should have paid attention to that. The dog crept into our workspace and he latched on. He for some reason he decided to bite the plug that was sticking out, which was hot.
Oh fuck!
And so as soon as he bit on it,
Yeah.
he got stuck on it. He couldn't pull himself off it. And so I looked at it. This white dude out of Eagle Rock, a lot of people know him, Mike Maynard. Mike Maynard looked at it, and as soon as Mike Maynard looked at it, I looked at it and I reacted with a like, oh shit, right? And he responded to as soon as he seen it, bam. He jumped on the dog, yanked the dog off, started hitting the dog's chest, and started giving the dog mouth to mouth.
Oh damn!
And I looked at that dude after that, bro, and I said, man, I ain't fucking shit. Who the fuck do I think I am, bro? You know what I mean? I think I'm a bad motherfucker, whoop-de-whoop-whoop. But when I seen that dog stuck on that receptacle, I was like, oh shit. Like I reacted, right? But he responded. And that's a big fucking difference. Yeah. And I'm sorry, brother, for cutting you off on your story, bro. But I've never heard anyone say that like this on this podcast, bro.
Did the dog make it?
The dog made it, bro.
Oh, wow.
He gave the dog was gone, bro. He fucking pounded the dog's chest and he gave the dog mouth to mouth and brought the dog back to life.
Fucking A.
Why? Because he responded. He responded. And that is forever. That was years ago, bro. But that's forever stuck in my mind because we do what we do, right? We reflect. We look at ourselves. And I let myself down, but not only did I let the dog down, but thank God that we didn't have two dudes reacting the way I reacted, because that dog would be dead.
For sure.
So I love that you said that. You know, you're either going to react or you're going to respond. Thank you, brother. I'm sorry.
No, don't trip.
Yeah.
So where was that? So yeah.
Sorry about that.
No, that's cool, you know, and that's a good example, so that way people could understand. You know, there's a big difference. You know, it's like, you know, like and even so even being at Homeboy, doing all the work that I do and all that, like even becoming like trauma informed, like people react for a reason. It's and you know, and that's like what Father G teaches us: compassion, kinship, and hope.
So you're the manager. What was it at the Sober Living?
Yes.
You're the head manager?
Yes.
Okay. And so but at the same time you're going to Homeboy's Industry. What was your initial meeting with Father Greg Boyle?
Well, actually, it took me a while to really talk. Like, he would just see me, hey, hi, son, and like I never,
and so
I didn't want to bug him. I didn't want to bother him.
So initially, what are you doing at Homeboy's Industry?
At that time, I'm a trainee, right? So I'm already coming up on my 18 months, the program and all that. So kind of felt like my life was in limbo, you know, like not knowing what's gonna happen, you know, stuff like that. Even so. Then people start telling me, like other organizations like Health 360, someone, I forgot his name, he's like, apply, you know, over here. Another lady, she's like, apply for probation. It was like a probation overwatch gig and stuff like that. And, you know, she sent the online application. I go, how is this gang member going to work for probation and shit? You know, procrastinated.
Yeah.
You know, had an excuse not to apply. Oh, I didn't get that job because I missed the deadline. Another individual told me to apply over here. And then at Homeboy Industry, they asked why wouldn't I apply for a case manager? And I was like, what, really, me? Like, and they're like, yeah, apply. You know, she now that's my supervisor, Natalie Venegas. I mentor. I learned a lot from that lady. Amazing person. And I was like, really? And she's like, yeah. So I started thinking, I go, all these educated people are telling me to apply to all these different positions in different organizations. And then I started thinking, well, maybe they're right. Maybe they're onto something. You know, it's not just one, two. It's like a couple of individuals that are highly educated, right?
Yeah, they're telling you to do this.
So I go, well, like, you know what? Like, fuck it. So I applied. And then I applied another place, trying to get another position. And then by the grace of God, I got it, you know. And then I became a case manager. I've been doing case management for probably 2.5 years already. And
let's go, baby. Congratulations, brother.
Thank you, brother.
Great accomplishments.
And even like the work, so being a trainee, you have a concept, you see certain things, but now when I sit on the other seat, like I see, well, there's so much we can do. You know what I mean? I had some tough cases. Like, there's a young, I'm not going to say her name, but she was like probably 19, 20 years old. She taught me a lot.
Well, let's talk about what she taught you. But so what exactly is okay? Your job title was a case manager at Homeboy Industries, right? What is your responsibilities?
Well, it's just to connect people to different services.
Okay.
I'm not a counselor. I'm not a therapist. That's beyond my scope.
Yes.
All right. So all I do is connect. Like I'll meet with you, and everything's relational there. You know, so if we have a relationship, you're gonna share some things with me. We do assessments. Assessments are a tool to gather information, so I could create a specifically tailored care plan to fit your needs. You know, so that's what I do. So this lady, again, I would hear this word trauma informed, and she would just pop off. Anything, no matter what you said, pop off. So I started doing a little reading up on trauma informed, and so when people have trauma, severe trauma, it affects your especially as a child, it affects you in your adolescent life, and to adulthood, it affects your brain development. So like if you have severe trauma, so no matter, some individuals, no matter what you say, if it's a something positive, it's gonna be like bulletproof. It's gonna bounce off.
Yeah.
Something negative, it's gonna be like Velcro. It's gonna stick to it. And when that happens, it's like a hijacking of the brain. So there's no communication. Like it's just boom. You're like, what the? This is something positive. Like, you know. So I started seeing all that, and then I understood her. And again, the compassion part, you know, the compassion component. And then once I seen that, I was like, wow, it just changed my whole perspective on that, you know? So now I like everything, I approach it with compassion. You know, I'm a work in progress. I'm not perfect. I get triggered. I get triggered easily. But the thing is, do I react to it or do I respond to it? You know what I'm saying?
Let's go, baby. Wow.
Yeah, so I'm there right now. And it's just, even tough cases, sometimes, you see, there's cases that are harder than others, and so they're like, "Oh, here they come!" Right? And that's what, like, you know, I didn't have the experience. I'm glad I had this young lady early in my career. It taught me a lot. That way,
to help you have compassion.
Yeah, and it just to have the skill set.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
To deal with you, the younger you.
Yeah, and it's like, I'm glad it happened early instead of later. So now when I know how to
navigate,
respond.
Yeah, respond.
You know what I'm saying?
Ooh, I love that.
You know what I mean?
I love that so much, bro.
Yeah.
Some people react, some people respond. Bro, I'm telling you right now, they're gonna show this interview in juvenile halls, bro. They're gonna take this interview and they're gonna educate people with this interview, because this is one amazing story, bro. You are freaking killed this, bro. And I have learned so much on this right here, and I'm a work in progress myself as well, brother. But go ahead, bro.
Yeah, so I've been doing that, and like I said, I'll see people like, damn, I don't want to. But now, like, we're having an in-service, and there was an individual that was facilitating, and he said, yeah, instead of shying away from the people, you should be honored that they're even coming to you with their problems. And I thought about me, like, we hold all this stuff, but why am I gonna go dumping on you? You know what I mean? This is my pedo. Like, you know, like even in our communities, that's what we're taught. Like, you know, like the toxic masculinity, don't cry, boys don't cry, don't be a punk, don't be a bitch, all that stuff, right? And even like there's a stigma too with mental health. You know what I mean? Like in our community, like you go to prison, homeboys can't do therapy.
Yeah, they can't get
snitching.
If you're getting Skittles, right?
Yeah, right. You know, and
he's on Skittles.
Or who do you see getting therapy in media? In movies, white people.
Yeah.
No offense. You know why? Because they could afford it. They have access to it.
Yeah.
And we don't. You know, even cultural differences. You know what I mean? This culture, that culture. We don't do that. We don't share a product again. So what happens with these individuals? They carry all that. You know, like drug addiction, violence. Those are just symptoms. There's something deeper. And it's like last week, my little homie Yarin Padilla, rest in peace, perrito. He passed, and he had symptoms. You know what I mean? And now that it's passing, like when that happened, like just reflecting on all the little encounters we had and this and that, I was like, damn, homeboy was suffering. You know, but we just see the surface.
Yeah.
Whatever addiction it may be, alcohol, drugs, whatever, gangs, this, that. You know what I mean? And so that it's there's a lot of people suffering out there, man. And it's like you know, there is help out there, and that's what I found so amazing too. Like I knew there was help out there, I just didn't realize how many people are willing to help.
Let's go.
You know what I mean? So like going back to that travel, I was telling them when I was come back, like I go to the hood, to the same stomping grounds, and people I used to kick it with that opened up doors for me. They're like, some of them are intense, and I'm like, damn, that's the path that I was on.
Yeah.
And now I tell them, like, come on, come over here. And this goes for everybody out there. You need help? Come and see me. You know, go to Homeboy Industries. Hope has an address, and it's 130 West Bruno Street.
Let's go, baby.
You know what I'm saying?
Let's go. Hope does have an address.
You know what I mean? And it's like this time around, you know, I like before all the times I always had these big ideas. Like that one time I was in the Soap the Hood, War Room, all that shit. You know what I mean? This is the first time in my life that the things that I'm talking about, I'm doing.
You do have a war room now.
You know, yeah.
But it's a hope room.
Yeah, it's a hope room.
You have a hope room now.
There you go.
That is
That's dope. That's
amazing. Full circle. And all those books, I was thinking about it the whole time you were talking, bro. I was like, all those books actually came into play to this very day, this moment, bro. It all helped the navigation, bro.
Yeah.
To doing what you're doing now.
Even all those books, right? They would talk to me, and it's like every book that I read, I felt that I read them in the perfect order. Like they just fell into place. Like they just picked up one after the other, like all in order from A to Z. And like I tell you, like when I read, I dive into my books. Like they talk to me, you know, and I hold on to that stuff. Like I'm a sponge. I love to learn. I become passionate about education. You know, it's become my outlet. And like I said, all those dreams that I had, like before, they would just get put on the back burner. Now it's like I stepped into a dream. You know what I mean? It's like I'm back on my heaven on earth. You know, I've gotten peace in my life.
Cool.
You know, I used to come to the hood when to pick up my wife and stuff, and she'd be like, man, when you get down here, you get tense. I'm like, yeah, you start walking different, talking different. I felt like I had unfinished business.
Are you still with your wife?
Yes.
How are your kids?
They're good.
How's Stevie doing?
He's doing really good. He slangs chicken, so if you guys want a chicken, hit me up.
I'll buy a chicken. I'll buy a chicken from Stevie. I have chickens at my house, bro.
You know what I mean?
I'll buy one, bro.
Sure. I'm gonna link you up with Stevie.
Yeah, 100%,
you know what I mean?
bro.
And yeah, they're good. They're amazing. I love them, and you know, it's like, you know, being a father, a parent, and all that. Like there's no instructions to this stuff. You know what I mean? And like, you know,
sometimes we gotta learn the hard way, brother.
Yeah. You know, and it's like the stuff our parents teach us. They were taught, it's generational. You know, when does this generational curse stop? Well, with me, it stops today. You know? And it's like,
What is mom and pop still around?
no, my pop's passed in January, but my mom's up north.
You did say that previously too.
Yeah.
My condolences, brother.
Thank you. So even like mom's, like, you know, all that stuff around time when I was in the shoe, getting all those letters, like I haven't spoken to her in many years. You know what I mean? And it's just that's something that I gotta work on, something that I gotta heal from too.
You gotta,
know, like I'm a work in progress, bro.
Yeah, you gotta work that relationship out. I feel it.
Well, we'll figure it out. You know what I mean? Hopefully sooner than later.
100%.
You know, but yeah. So I'm right there at Homeboys. Like I said, graduated. You know, it's crazy. This failing kid. Like so, all the time, all those Fs. Yet I still got passed every grade I graduated.
3.9.
Yeah. So as a kid though in elementary, I failed, right? So I would get still passed to the next grade, and then eventually I got funneled into juvenile hall, and that's like roughly 30 to 40 years ago. There's a phenomenon in our educational system known as a school to prison pipeline. I used to say that I was a victim of that. Like now I strongly believe I'm a survivor of that.
Yes, sir.
You know, I made it out of that, and now I know I inspire people, and even out throughout my life, like I meet people that I haven't seen in years, and they'll be like, hey homie, remember you told me this? And I was like, nah, maybe I was probably high, G. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? But they're like, nah, homie, like those words you told me, like I remember them clearly to this day. They changed my life.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hell yeah, that's the payoff. When I got my position, I always told myself I would never forget to feel how it feels to be a trainee. Uncertainty, life in limbo, not knowing where to begin. You know, like I'm a case manager, but by heart I'm still a trainee. You know what I mean? And yeah, it's just like the work that we done. It's amazing. Like even that word amazing, it was so hard for me to use. Like I will try to use it. I'll start stuttering. I'm used to firme, this, sick, that. You know what I mean? But nah, my life's amazing. Like everything is just great. You know, and this is just the beginning for me. I'm not here on this earth just to help one person, 20, 50 people, or 100 people. I strongly believe I'm gonna impact thousands.
Yeah.
And that's my life's journey, just to help. You know, I don't go to church, but I pray every day. You know, sometimes I might forget. You know, pray in the car, driving to work, meditate, all that stuff. And it's like,
did you meditation
yeah, while I drive?
while you drive?
Yeah, just thinking in my thoughts. That's another form. Sometimes the reflecting and stuff like that. Sometimes I do the little breathing if I have a little extra time and all that.
Do you ever? Would you change anything in your life?
Fuck no.
No.
You know,
I feel like it was
yeah.
God's. It was
Yeah.
God's roadmap to get you where you're at now.
God's divine plan.
Divine
It's
plan.
like
Thank
even,
you.
You know, like if I continue, if I would fall back and end up back on drugs and street, then my brother's death would be in vain. But if I continue on this path, like I honor my brother's death, all the homies that I lost, homies that I left in prison, you know, all the lifers and all that don't have a chance. I would roll up to spots, hey, where have you been? Or this, that, and I had a homie, Richard from Frogtown. He's a lifer. I remember I had met him a few years back. One spot, bumped into him again, left, came back to another spot. All this time he thought I was a lifer. You know, I was the homie that rolled up onto the yard telling war stories. 40 years old, I'm going over here on BMX bikes, GT Performers, and doing all this shit, thinking I'm cool. I look like a fucking fool. You know what I'm saying? And that was a tough pill to swallow.
But you
know?
felt feed man
At that
time.
moment, making
Not
people
amazing.
laugh. Yeah, that was cool. Yeah, exactly, right? And I remember I was telling the homie when he told me, he goes, man, all this time I thought you were a lifer. I'm like, nah, I'm not. He goes, you mean to tell me you went home? I'm like, yeah. And he was like, nah, homie. And just seeing that, like, he wished he had that opportunity. You know what I'm saying? That.
But we create that opportunity for ourselves at
Yes.
certain points in our life.
Yes.
Is that safe to say, brother?
Yes.
He
Like,
did create it. I mean,
Yes.
He did create it.
he did create it.
He
The law of
visualized
attraction,
it.
He
Yeah.
You know.
literally
When he
created
told me
it.
that, that's when I told myself, you know what, just shut the fuck up and get out of here.
Yeah.
Just, you know, I started practicing humility, a lot of humility on that journey. And what's crazy about it, like good ass solid homies were coming up to me like, hey homie, I respect you. I'm like, why is that? You're fucking humble and you're down.
Yeah.
And like I felt like, through humility, I got the most respect ever. You know what I mean?
Let's go. Let's go.
So yeah, so that's my story. Like I'm here now, you know, like I said, I'm a work in progress. I'm a student of life. You know, I'm never gonna stop learning. The day that I stop learning, that's the day God's gonna call me.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean? And it's like I just want to say, everybody out there, like, you know, it's not like they say, everybody has a choice, you know, but what influences their choices, you know? So really analyze your life, where you're putting yourself, finding yourself. Nothing changes if nothing changes. You know what I mean? And like I said, it's possible. You know, I did it. What's stopping you from doing it?
Yeah, that's
You know what I'm
something,
saying?
and that's something you got to ask yourself. Nobody can answer that for you. You have to ask yourself that right now. Right now, if you're going through some hard times, if life is not the way you envision it or you'd like it to be, you got to ask yourself the tough questions, and you got to answer them. You can answer them with some drug fucking bullshit, right? Or you can answer them honestly and pick yourself up and push yourself forward. I mean, the better lack of words. I apologize, but I'm just saying, like, 100%, bro. This has been. Let's open up the phone line. Call in. I need some calls right now. I want you to talk to the homie Isaac right now, man.
Isaac. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead, bro.
Isaac, so when you talked about it, I wrote this note. Ask him about the lady singing story. Could you tell us about that?
There was a young lady, Cassandra. She was right there murdered on Sydney. Young lady, you know, and heavily in her addiction. And just one day she just started singing, and I was like, fuck, I was just blown away, you know. And again, that just opened up my eyes to all the talent there that was there. And even when she passed, right, because some people, I used to serve them, you know. And then when she passed, I felt it. I go, nah, these ain't my cuss. These are my friends. You know, I'm right here with them every day, and we're all down on our luck. You know, but yeah, she had a beautiful voice. She shared that briefly. You know.
Damn. How did she pass away?
She was murdered.
Oh, damn. Sorry about that. Droopy, you said you knew Yogi?
Yeah. I actually worked over there at that time in the graffiti crew. So yeah, I knew.
Let's get this phone call right here.
Yeah.
You are on Hood Stocks. Talk to us.
Hey, what's up, Lucky?
What up, baby?
Hey, I'm calling out of Oceanside. My name's Isaac. I've been listening to the Homeboy story and impact him. And I just want to give you guys props and keep up the good work and keep all the homies, you know. Great guidance in this book.
Bro, it sounds like you got a German Shepherd breathing right next to you right now, bro. You either got to put the windows up or something, bro. I hear, or it might be your hyena. I don't know, bro. You know what I mean? But
he said, I think he said, much respect to you guys and
just fuck
your
with
story.
You, no disrespect to your hyena, bro. But if she looks like a German Shepherd, then
roll the windows up, bro.
Yeah, the windows are.
You calling from a motorcycle or?
I got a shirt for you too, right here, brother. This is a street veteran, Hood Stocks, baby.
Thank you.
You know what I mean? A street veteran that has changed. You know what I mean? That has changed. And you know what, bro? After this, bro, I got some car fresheners right here for you, dog. But I got a whole package for you, dog. I'm gonna pull up on Homeboy's Industry and drop you off a whole package. Let's get this next phone call. You're on Hood Stocks. Talk to us. Hello.
I want to give a shout out to Isaac.
You got to turn the volume down in the background, please.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Can I give a shout out to Isaac?
You're talking to him right now. Talk to him.
Isaac, what's up, homeboy? Fucking, since you know who it is.
That's right, homeboy.
I got a lot of love for you, homeboy. I'll always be right here supporting you. I look up to you on a lot of fucking things. A lot. Like, you're like one of my greatest inspirations right there, homeboy.
Thank you. Thank you. Means a lot. Means a lot. Love you too, homegirl.
All right. I'll see you later.
We got the homie trying to call. Let me just call him. Hold on. Hello? And pick yourself up and push yourself forward. What the hell was that? I mean,
it's a podcast.
The better lack of words. I apologize. But I'm just saying, like,
Hold on.
100%, bro.
There we go.
Let me see. You're on Hood Stocks. Talk to us.
Hey, what's good? Hood Stock.
What up, baby?
Good afternoon, man. Yo, this is Rich Rock from Norwalk, and I'm just stuck on this podcast like dope right now, man.
Positivity hits like that.
Watching yeah, man. You got good content right here, man. And shout out to Isaac, man, for turning life around, man.
Thank you, brother.
You got a deep story, and a lot of people feel that, man. A lot of people know what trauma is, and it's hard for people to grasp that and know how to want to change. But you're doing it, man, and you're an inspiration to a lot of people, and it just puts a lot into perspective for myself in the little things that I deal with. But hey, man, I want to say congrats on your journey, man, because you're turning life around, and that's good. That's good to hear that you're spreading the word so people can change and know that there are outlets to do the same for themselves, man. So hey, I just want to salute the podcast, Hood Stock, Big Luck, good shit over there, Isaac. Keep it pushing, man.
For sure,
and,
no doubt, baby.
Rooting for you, man.
Thank you.
So,
I appreciate you, brother, for taking the time to share those words. They mean a lot. Thank you.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate it.
You got it, man.
Next phone call. What up, Flox? Talk to us.
What's up, Lucky?
What up, baby?
What's up, my boy? I was just calling in because I was watching the podcast with Isaac Gonzales. You know what? Hey, Lucky, that's a good-ass homie right there. Isaac, I love you, my boy. It's Jose Echeverria Flaco from El Sereno, dog.
Oh, that's right, homeboy. What's popping, baby?
Man, you know what? I've been looking at the podcast for like this whole time, and you know what, dog? I'm proud of you, my boy.
Thank you, homie.
I'm proud of you, Isaac. I want to tell you that you're a big inspiration, homie, and you already know, dog. I'm following behind your footsteps in a major way. You know what I mean?
That's right. We're walking along each other's side, brother.
Yeah,
Sure.
and you know what? That's empowering, dog. Everything you're saying, my boy, is what we've been taught, homie. You know what I mean? As kids on the street, and I find there's a lot of power in us voicing our experiences, dog. You know what I mean?
Yes.
We gotta reach out to a lot of these youngsters, homie. You know, like I'm majoring the same thing that you major in, sociology and social behavioral science. My goal is to become a social worker.
That's right, homie.
You know? And man, good shit, Lucky, for having this dude. And Isaac, I love you, my boy. I'm proud of you, doggy.
Love you, Carnal.
You guys keep doing your thing, homie.
Flox, we will see you soon. We got you on the schedule as well, brother.
Whoop, whoop.
I got you, my brother. Yeah.
Hell yeah,
On
looking
the
forward to
27th.
it. Yes, sir.
I'm looking forward to it, doggy. All
Me
right.
too, doggy. All right, brother. Thank you for calling, dog.
All right, my boy.
What do we got? We got something for the homie right here? Shout out to Ed Cal One. Ed Cal One got something for you right here, bro. He drew while he was sitting right here.
That's right. Thank you, brother. Hell yeah. Check that shit out, baby.
Ed Cal One,
in the
man.
frame.
Hoodstocks artist, man. You're on Hoodstocks. Talk to us.
Go on.
Hello, how's it going? Hoodstocks, they're coming aesthetic from Long Beach.
What up?
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir. Yes.
All right, great, man. You know what, man? The homie Isaac Gonzales, much respect, man, and your whole crew there. This is the first time I call. I've been a big fan of yours, but what he does, I work at a rehab myself. I'm a treatment advocate. Right now, I'm driving back from the Bay Area, seeing my family, and I just been finding answers. Just like you say, he drives home. I'm driving home. I just want to go see my family, and he just had an inspiration where, like, man, what am I going to do? I got my trucker's license. His story of surviving the streets, of me trying to change my life and walk away from the bullshit. And it becomes so inspiring with his story, man. You know how much it hit me where right now I'm like, I'm going to pull over, just reflect. One of my buddies that works on me, just pull over, Gilbert. This will be a reflecting ride home to see where you're going. You're a good guy. I've been to a lot of the similar stories he's been through. I can relate so much. And right now it's like I found a key. Man, I'm going to try case management. I've been in the rehab business for three years now. And I love helping people, man. I've become an influence to people that, when I was there, hopeless, shameless, embarrassed, and now I'm on the other end helping people, man. And Isaac Gonzales, I hope to one day link up with you, man. Also change lives, not just one, not just a couple. I feel like I could change lives, man. I'm like a dead man walking, where I feel like, man, I'm grateful. Every day is Thanksgiving for me, man.
That's right.
And lucky from Hoodstocks, I got much respect for you. You interviewed a couple of my homies, too, from Long Beach. And this is the best podcast, man. I really got connected to you, Isaac. I think you're doing a great thing, and God bless you, man.
Thank you, brother. What's your name again?
They call me Aesthetics from Long Beach.
All right, homeboy. Like, the way I see things is, if we create enough ripples in the water, then maybe together we could create tidal waves of change. Keep up the good work,
man.
bro.
You got some deep ass words, man. Just like Lucky feels you, man.
I'm a poet and I didn't even know it. Hey. Your boy can flow too. Nah, don't get me started on beatboxing, G.
Can you beatbox?
I get a little shy.
Casey gonna hit a rap, bro. Hipster rap. Oh shit, he can beatbox. That was slapping, bro. I heard the snare in that, boy.
We got somebody calling right there.
Let's go. My bad, bro.
Hey, but God bless you guys.
God bless you, brother. And this is the bread and butter of Hoodstocks. This is why I started this podcast, is for this right here. And sometimes the lines get blurry, baby, but we bring it back in. We bring it back in, bro. And thank you, brother, for helping us bring it back in, because sometimes the lines get blurry, bro. You know, you know what I mean by that. Let's go.
Check.
Let's go. Let's get this next phone call. You're on Hoodstocks. Talk to us.
Hey, what's up, Lucky? Hey, what's up, Isaac? It's a pleasure to meet you, man.
Likewise.
Hey, man, I had just one question for you, man. When you went upstate to prison, did you ever get a chance to actually get down with a couple Northerners, or it was more like a respecting, like in your personal experience?
Well, at that time, nah, I never got down with no Northerners, you know. Like our pedo was more, you know, the issues that we had in my neighborhood was more of that, you know. But I don't want to get into that. Yeah, exactly.
It's neither here.
But yeah, I never got into no Northerners or nothing like that.
All right, man. All right. Look, hey, man, just keep it up and keep going to school and keep staying educated, man. You're a good influence for these youngsters down south, homie.
All right, thank you, bro.
Yeah. And shout out to all the solid Northerners out there. You know what I mean? Shout out to everybody. Shout out to the Asian homies. Shout out to the white homies. You know what I mean? Shout out to the Middle Eastern homies. You know what I mean?
What about the native homies?
Come on, baby. That's easy right here. Native homies, dog. You know, all that, dog. Like, I'm just saying.
What about
like,
the Jewish homies?
Come on, you got Drew Hefner right here, baby. You know what I mean? Let me shout myself out then, baby. You know? Shit. While you bullshitting, thank you, dog.
Whoa,
thank you for that little alley-oop right there. You gave me that alley-oop. I wanted to dunk it, but I'm a Jew, dog, so I just laid that bitch up. Nice and softly. You know what I mean? I just laid it up nice and softly. It went in the basket. Still 2 points. My pops is a Jew, Russian Jew. My mom's Mexican, bro. So I have gotten shit for that my entire life. This is my cousin, my mom and his mom's sisters. These dudes.
No Jew in him, though.
I have no Jew in him. You know what I mean? Unless he wants it. I'm just fucking around, dog. Matter of fact, that's your twin, bro.
Nah, I'm more handsome, G.
Yeah,
Nick, come over to the camera. Let the people
You guys decide. Come on, Nick. Go ahead there, bro. You guys tell me if I'm tripping or not when I was looking at Isaac.
Isaac and Nick.
Oh, baby.
Look at that. Look at that.
Hey, is that his? Are they twins? Because Nick wears the same glasses, reading glasses too.
I feel like my mic's off.
Your mic's on, bro. I just turned the volume on your headphones out a little bit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I felt like Isaac was like, these are too loud. And then I started tripping and I was like, well, maybe we're listening too loud. And we got to protect our hearing because Hoodstocks is going to be around forever or as long as God permits us. You know what I mean?
Whoa.
Isaac, this has been absolutely amazing, bro. This is probably by far one of my favorite interviews. And everybody knows this, bro. You are an amazing individual, bro.
Thank you.
You know, well thought out, bro. I mean, everything you went through, bro, you have applied everything to this point in your life, you know? And I acknowledge that. I see that, bro. I mean, wow, bro. Wow. Thank you, Audra. But most importantly, thank you, brother. And Homeboy Industries, I mean, is Homeboy Industries... Tell me a little about on the way out of here, bro. We're gonna end this right now, but Homeboy Industries, bro. Like, how powerful is Homeboy Industries?
Very powerful. We've taken on a leadership role. You know, we have the Homeboy Global Network. We have so gangs and drugs are not just in LA. They're not just in our country. It's a world issue.
Yeah.
So we have people from around the world that come and model us. Like, who would ever thought? Like, people coming from around the world to learn from homies.
Yeah.
You know, and getting the good game.
Real shit like that, huh?
Like that.
They're coming around the world.
And we just had it like 3 weeks, 3 weeks, and we got people from all over coming in. From the Netherlands, Australia, different parts of the country.
Wow.
I think there was some people from Mexico, Canada, all over the place.
Wow, bro.
Yeah.
So powerful. I used to go get laser treatment right there, and I've had a bunch of my homeboys that have worked there periodically throughout, you know, in and out. You know how it is, bro.
Yeah.
You know, in and out. I mean, how is it there, like, in regards to, I'm losing a word that I want to say, bro, but just the energy, the vibrations right at Homeboy Industries, because you have a lot of different characters. Some cats are just there for fucking off or maybe trying to do good on parole, and there's some dudes that are really committed and they're really trying to find change and utilize what Homeboy Industries has to offer. I mean, do we treat them any different?
No, everybody gets treated equally, and some people there's case by case cases, right? Depending on their needs and all that. But so right there, like to get that vibe, you have to be there to experience it, because that's what they call the Homeboy magic.
I felt like when I walked in there a couple times when I used to get laser treatment right there, bro, that I felt like I was walking in the yard, bro. Yeah. I was walking into the yard, bro.
So even sometimes when I pull up, right, I'd be like, it feels like I'm going to the hood, right? Like to the spot, right? The only difference is this is a positive spot.
There you go, baby.
You know what I'm saying? And I tell people, like, what we got there, you can't buy it at the store in a bottle, and you most definitely can't get it from the connection in a little sack.
Let's go, baby. Hey, I want everybody to give it up for Isaac Gonzales. This has been by far like an amazing journey, amazing story, and amazing accomplishments that you have made, and very, very inspirational. And that's what we are here to do, is inspire the masses here at Hoodstocks. Thank you so much,
Thank
brother.
you, homeboy. Thank you for having me.
God, bro. Thank you so much, bro. And anything you want to say on the way out of here?
Yeah, so when you dream, be creative. You know, there's a quote from Albert Einstein. He says, how does it go? Imagination is everything. It is the preview to life's coming attractions. Gracias.